chocolate twists.
Sweet. Okay, so we are live. We are recording. Hello and welcome.
Hi.
To episode 4 of the confusingly numbered War of Inheritance.
Yes.
When last we met our heroes, we were a slightly different configuration. This session we have gained a wonderful Zoe, but we have lost a terrible David. Big trade-up. And so there is no longer a giant hulking mute shield paladin to protect all of my lovely squishy party
I
members.
think I'm going to prepare cure wounds for this.
That might be a good choice.
There we go. Right, that is done. I am all spelled up.
So, when last we met our heroes, what happened? Have you seen last session?
No.
Zoe's not seen last session.
I was asleep.
Boo! Poor choice.
Long story
We should
short,
do this in
we got...
context-free spoilers.
Long story short, we got attacked by a rug made of leaves. It was very embarrassing.
Yeah, they nearly lost.
We nearly lost.
Yeah.
We nearly lost to a rug. So
This close.
it was bad. We went into the forest. We went into the bad bit of forest before that. I was like, oh, thank God we don't have to go there. We had to go
We
there.
went there.
We met some tree blights, which are a bit like dryads, but like grim and horrible and not as brainy.
If Julia Donaldson took acid and then roasted them.
Yeah, more or less.
They can like merge in and out of trees, and they're horrible, and they fight you. But we handily defeated them thanks to Jorg and his magic axe.
And me falling out of a tree.
And you falling out of a tree. And then we made our way to a bit of polluted river, which was going to lead us up to the
No, you
polluted
missed. You
water
missed
source.
where we met the Fae.
We met the Fae!
We had a sing-off.
Yeah, we can do all of this. Fine. We can do all of this in session. The broad story. Where do we end last session?
I cleansed my first well in session.
I touched a
Yay.
stone and had a vision. So I found one of my standing stones and I touched it in order to draw power to try and save Jorg. And then I had a sort of a flash of stuff which may be explored further in a minute.
That's correct.
And Jorg nearly got drowned by a dryad for chopping the roots of a polluted tree out of the
Oh, you saved him so well. He was drowning in full armour. Go on.
And I created ice underneath him, which floated him up to the top of
Such
the
good
water.
use.
It was
So-
really good.
Clever power badassery to one side, we ended last session in a clearing which was glowing with a golden light. The blight that was infesting the water source having been purged.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Woo!
And enough, Jorg, enough. Stop with the puffins. And you had cleared it out and taken the darkness from within the dryad and got rid of that as well.
Oh yeah, we didn't have to kill the dryad. I remember.
Which was a big plus.
It was a big plus.
Congratulations, as you step out of the water, or as you come to and your head breaks the water.
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Very much so. You feel suddenly just more at one with the clearing around you and with the forest in general. The leaves that are blowing, you can almost feel every single one in the trees. And you get a sensation of relief, like a big weight has been taken off of you, and you no longer feel like this is a horrible and dark place to be. In fact, you are pretty sure that the area of forest is slowly dissipating, and various other dark creatures that may have existed, like the rug monster that you fought, or like those horrible vine blights,
God.
are probably returning to a more natural state as you speak. That's not to say the forest is totally safe, but it's not going to have any of those unnatural and unearthly abominations in it. You get up and you feel, invigorated. Congratulations, change your hit points and your... we'll do that in a second, Jacob can deal with that in some downtime, but you hit level 2. Yeah! And the dryad leans over to you and places her hand on your shoulder, and she says to you in Sylvan, which is a language that you speak.
I do.
She says to you in Sylvan, she says, thank you. And she takes her head, her gnarled, twisted, barky head, which is quite beautiful, but it spreads up into a brush of flowers, which as you see her move are changing and beginning to bloom. And she, still submerged in water up to her waist, leans down, touches her head to yours, and she says, I give you the gift of earth. And suddenly you open your eyes and you can feel the grass around you as if it were twice your height. And everything's in a different vision. Everything's black and white and suddenly changing, and you have all these sensations coming to you, and it takes you a couple of seconds to realise that this is an incredible sense of smell that has hit you, and then suddenly you're back. And then again, you change and you can feel yourself much more part of the earth, and you burrow down inside it, and it feels right, and the earth passes through you, and you pass through the earth in a perfect symbiosis, and you crest again and come out searching for water and nutrients and filtering the earth through your body, and then you're back again. And 3 or 4 of these transitions occur, and you who are present can see that Neve is disappearing and reappearing briefly in the space until she comes back to herself.
Wow.
Gain the Wild Shape druidic ability.
Ooh.
means you
Tell me about Wild Shape.
We'll do crunch
do that,
while
yeah.
Zoe has her scene.
Great.
Yes. So that happens. For your level up, you have gained Distance Spell and nothing else.
Ooh. Distance spell would normally be level 3.
Oh, what do you gain as
Sorcery points.
Oh, just sorcery points. You just gain
And a
spell. Then you gain sorcery points and a spell. Yes. No, you gain sorcery points and a spell and distance spell.
Oh, amazing.
That is correct. That is what you get. Sorry?
Nothing.
It's fine, it's all good. Freya, you left the group, and the decision was that having a map of the wilds would be incredibly useful if you were going to press on into it, since the only member of your group that had actually been properly north and into the wildlands was Jorg, and he'd followed orders and gone where he was told, so he couldn't give you accurate depictions of anything. So you find yourself having sworn, I'm never going back. The plan is to not go back home.
Yeah.
Going back home.
With a fake moustache.
With a fake moustache. That is incredible. Can you please roll me a... please roll me a performance check.
Where's performance?
It's a charisma-based skill.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, that's not very good.
What did you roll?
I rolled a 2, so I have a 5.
A 2. Fantastic. So, Freya, you have managed to put yourself on a really terrible disguise. It's not going to fool anybody. In the anime, you can see you've got a big grey cloak and a stick that you're walking along with, and an obviously fake moustache.
It's just like a rat tail.
Oh no! You've procured a fake moustache from somewhere, but it's so clearly a fake moustache, and you're walking along in your noble garb. You haven't got a chance to
Come on, Freya.
put anything else on, and you're making your way from the village of Hawk back down to the capital.
Grassland, mountain,
What is your goal here? Do you want to not be found? Are you going to march in and use your nobility, or are you going to try and sneak through?
I am sneaking. I do not want a confrontation with my sister under any circumstance.
Sweet. Either of your sisters.
Yeah. Any number of the sisters who may be present.
Who may be present. Okay, fine. So you are sneaking through, which is reasonable. It takes you the better part of the day to get to within sight of the keep.
Okay.
And you can see that there are soldiers posted guard on the front gate, and there is a small patrol walking around the crenellations of the keep itself, but the presence here is dramatically reduced because most of the troops are gone. So there is a skeleton crew who are currently guarding it. What do you do?
Am I within kind of reasonable vision distance of any of the guards? Can I tell who they might be? Can I recognise anyone?
Ooh,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
fun.
you've lived here your entire life. You know all of these guards, not particularly well necessarily, but there's a guard named Sarum, S-A-R-U-M, who has always had a soft spot for you. He drinks way too much, and you keep catching him with a hip flask on duty that he shouldn't have.
Bless you.
But there's Sarum, who normally gets stationed with his wife, but his wife isn't here. You can't see him. He's on guard on one of the gates, and nobody is next to him.
Alright, I'm going to go and attempt to approach her without being seen by anyone else.
Okay,
That'll be
3 per day.
roll me a stealth, please. This is not a hard stealth.
18.
18? Yeah, so You wait. Sorum is on one of the gates,
Natural
and somebody goes through,
So
and
you
he
roll the
opens the gate for them, checks who they are and that they're allowed to be entering and exiting the keep.
one.
And you see a merchant takes a cart full of goods, and they roll down the road with a rumbling from the wagon.
2 level 1s or 1
And then
you get 2
the door closes, and you are standing in the space where it would have been. He goes, "Oh,
3 spells.
Hey,
A short rest, which
I'm
you
going
can
knock
do
back.
as a.
still in the old man guy."
Oh, there's a plate armor there.
And then you could do.
Are you as Freya or as the old man?
I
Another
am-
attraction, get them all back.
The old man who is
That's
obviously
fine.
The old man who is obviously Freya. Okay. What did you roll? You rolled a 2.
I'm sure Sorum is used to my antics.
Yeah. Okay. So he looks at you and he
You've got
goes,
loads of spells, so that's good.
"Ah, what business have you here,
John, the farmer.
John the farmer?" He looks around. There's no one around. You know, it's just you. What? Why are we doing this?
I need a better disguise, Sorum.
You need a better disguise.
Yes, I'll give you a raise or something. You're supposed to be your armor for like 20 minutes tops.
My armor.
Yes,
If I get caught without my armor, Lady Alyssa will have my.
so hide.
What? You have to give me your cloak to wear.
I'm going to just like empty my cloak of various daggers.
Okay, there's the obligatory
Yeah.
ching ching
Yeah.
ching dung ching scene where you empty your cloak
Yes.
and bits and pieces fall all over the floor. And Sorum watches the mounting pile of weapons with surprise, and eventually he says, make me a persuasion check, please."
20.
20.
Wow. Natural.
No.
Ah,
All right.
still.
He says,
Basically.
"We better hurry up. There's someone coming to replace me on guard in 25 minutes. You've got to..."
Basically.
He didn't say 25 minutes. He says, "On the hour, there's someone coming to replace me on guard.
Okay.
Help me out of this armor." So, yeah, you undress Sorum, who takes off his gear and trades clothes with you. You are now dressed in obviously too big armor for you, but it doesn't matter. You look like a guard. You now have a much better disguise.
Yeah.
Look like someone who's meant to be walking around.
Okay, well, I've never walked in an
Okay.
official,
You can
as in like
magically
an employed
change the
way
shape of the
before. I've walked around like I own the place before, but
Sure.
I'm going to attempt to walk around like a typical guard.
You would like, okay, please make me a performance check to walk around like a typical guard. How does Freya, the noble, think that a guard walks?
So you can turn into something up to.
It's just a charisma skill.
Yes, yes.
So
16.
16 is pretty good. Okay, so on a 16,
So
Freya is
awesome use of
walking through
animals
the...
need would have.
Can you... Oh, yeah, sorry, I just need you to keep it down just a little bit, guys. Okay, so on a 16, you walk through the castle, and you're doing a pretty good impersonation of a guard. I mean, it's a little bit officious. You stop and salute every now and
Yes.
again at various corners
nothing.
because there's
Just
nobody
normal
there.
people,
You just stop
just
and
like
be
a
like...
peasant is like,
Yeah. So you make your way into the keep, and you can see that the main building where you want to go, the tower, is inside a courtyard, and in the courtyard, this is where the market is held,
Yep.
and there's some various stalls and buildings that you've known your entire life. So you easily and handily make your way there, stopping and saluting the odd peasant that you see. People are winding down for the day, you know, dusk is approaching. And you make your way up to the castle. There is a guard on the gate.
do I recognize them?
Yeah, you do.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to try and attempt to keep the disguise up. I'm just going to walk through.
Casually walk through. Okay. You got a 16. So as you approach, the guard sees you coming, leans over and opens the door, and you walk into the keep. And then there's a hand on your shoulder, and you are stopped by the guard, who leans in and says, "You you haven't got any booze, have you?"
Yeah, of course I have booze.
Do you give this guy some booze? What have you got?
I'm going to give him...
Do you have wine? Is that what you drink?
Oh gosh, no, I don't. I've got thieves' tools.
No, but I have got some shanks.
Oh.
No?
No, I didn't plan for needing wine.
That's fine, yeah. You always need wine. So, do you have any booze? He says, come on. Come on, I'm dying of thirst here.
Do your job!
Peasant!
Masking my voice.
Okay.
Do your job!
Okay, so the hand withdraws and the door closes behind you, is all you note.
Okay. I'm going to speed up a bit.
Okay, you make your way, I mean, you don't have to find your way, you know exactly where you're going. And where you're going is to, there's a large gallery which has various maps and bits and pieces that are around. The map of the Wilds, which is what you're headed for, is not, well, you haven't studied it very much. You didn't care about it. It wasn't ever very important. It's a piece of paper, right? Who cares? But it's in a gallery which has got various beautiful works of artwork that have been collected by one of your sisters. Your sisters have various interests, and one of your sisters is a big fan of art. So, keg of booze and a 10-foot pole. So you head on down, and you are surprised at the lack of guards. I mean, you realise it's probably just due to the fact that most of the soldiers have been taken down south. But you would expect there to be more in the castle. They usually have been when you've been here, so you're expecting to encounter more resistance. As it is, there's nobody there. And you find your way to the big golden door of the gallery and pull it open. It's a big heavy wooden door with a ring. It swings open without a creak, and you see the plushly carpeted interior of the gallery inside. There are paintings lining the walls.
Any people?
Any people?
I'm going to enter cautiously, but...
You enter cautiously, there's nobody in here.
Okay.
So you walk over to the map of the Wildlands, which should be hanging in a space that you know where it is, and it's not there. In fact, you can see there is a line of dust around it, so it has been moved really recently.
Alright. Well, I'm just going to take my helmet off.
Yep.
I need to go talk to someone who knows what's going on, so I am going to head towards whatever the equivalent of a throne room is for a small keep.
Yep, you head to the Great Hall. Okay, you hear there's some conversation coming from around the corner of a corridor. I
am going to listen before approaching.
You're going to listen before approaching. Okay, cool. It's a pair of peasants who are walking through the keep, and they have just come from a meeting. Maybe a stealth check, please.
Oh,
Is that a natural one?
it is.
Amazing. Okay, so
I probably just trip over in my full plate.
Clang, clang, clang.
no. You stop and listen at the corner, and you hear the footsteps coming towards you, and you listen to the conversation that says, "Oh yes," one of them saying, "I know. Did you hear about the princess who ran away?" Saying, "I know. Where do you think she's gone?" "Well, some say she has a lover in Krassos that she went off to instead of the one she was supposed to marry." You say bullshit,
Yes.
and there's a moment, and then a pair of merchants come round the corner and see you, and one of them drops to her knees, and the other one says, "Oh, my lady."
Peasants, where is my sister?
I imagine she'll be in the Great Hall.
Alright, out of my way.
And they clear to one side, and you make your way through. Great. They run off, and
Nat ones. I laugh at nat ones.
they run. They go. Ooh. Yeah, I say run. They scurry off. They hurry off. To go and tell everyone it's hot gossip. You're back. You disappeared for a few days, and everyone thought you'd run away.
Back dressed as a So
Yeah, this is hot news. So you head on down to the Great Hall,
we're going to be the subject of Mills and Boon novels everywhere.
and on the way to the Great Hall, you hear your sister's voice, and do you? Let's see how. No, on that one, you absolutely.
Just walk into the room, completely oblivious.
Yeah, so you make your way down to the Great Hall, and on your way there, you see there is a side room. It's a study, and stretched out on the table is the map.
And I've seen this.
Yeah, you were walking down to the Great Hall, and you see in a study off to the side room, there is a map. There is a fire burning in there. Doesn't look like there's anybody in there. The door is slightly ajar, and you just peeked in and saw a large map spread out on the table.
Okay, I'm going to slip in, shut the door,
Mm-hmm.
take the armor off, and grab the map.
Okay, so you slip in, you shut the door. Are you going to bolt it or lock it or just shut? Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
gonna- as quietly as I can, but it is going to be as locked as it can be.
Okay, so you slip in and lock the door. You head over and you see on the table there is a map. A map that looks like this. Hang on.
Production value.
There we go. I'll show I'll show you the camera. I would have loved to have a photo of this to show you, but I do not. The map looks
Like a map.
like a map. I'll put it down on the screen for everyone to see in just a second. But you see a map, but the map doesn't just look like this. It has lots of pins in it.
Ooh.
Little
Pins.
flags that have been put down and pins that are being moved. You see some pieces, like chess pieces, you'd imagine, that are being moved over this map. And your armour is off to one side now. Well, your armour. Sauron's
It is
armour.
my armor.
It is. I own most of this. Is off to
Yes,
one
you
side.
discover that armour is really hard to take off on your own.
Like rolling around.
Yeah, so you've looked at this map and gone, oh, that's interesting. You've started to take your armour off, and you've got half of it over your head going, come on, like this, and there's a ka-choom at the door, and then you hear your sister's voice going, that's strange. Ka-choom, ka-choom, ka-choom.
Alright, okay. Can I tell it's my sister?
Yeah, this is Alyssa, you know.
Okay, I'm going to open the door and pull her in and shut the door.
Amazing.
That's amazing. Make me a. I love this. Super hard. Pull her in, open the. You don't need to roll for this. Okay, so she's going. Ka-chunk, you wait. Ka-chunk, you wait for her to time the pull, and then you go. Open it, grab her, put her in. She's. Whoop! You see that there is a guard outside with your sister. Make me a.
Oh no.
Make me roll me an initiative check, please. On a natural 20, you pull your sister in, slam the door shut, and bolt it again, and there's a dum, 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 Lady Alyssa! Dum, dum, Lady Alyssa! From outside. And
You're dismissed!
Lady Alyssa! Dum, 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 dum. The hammering continues.
gosh.
You hear footsteps outside.
Alyssa, what are these?
What?
No time to explain, Alyssa. What is this?
She slaps you, and she turns and she says, "What are you doing? What? Do you have any idea? Where have you been? I cannot believe you.
You sent me on a mission, Alyssa.
Yes, a mission. One day, come back."
Oh, we saved the village and, some stuff. I was on my way straight back.
And
but-
here you are.
Yes.
Thank goodness.
Yes.
Because the delegation from Krassos arrive tomorrow. And so I am glad that there will be a princess for them to take home and marry. It would have been outrageous for there not to be.
Is there a window in this room?
There is.
Is it close to the ground? This room?
You're at least one story up.
It's fine, I felt like 3 stories.
She goes and she sits down in, next to the map on a chair. She says, You have never taken your responsibility seriously. And I understand. I get it. You're the 5th child. You're never going to inherit the barony. You're never going to amount to much. Nothing is expected of you.
Wow.
And boy, have you excelled at that. This is really hard for me.
I'm sure it is, my lady.
Don't you take that tone with me. You are not aware of everything that is going on. There are moves being made that you don't know about.
So tell me.
Why would we tell you? Why would you be included in the plans, Miss Run Off and Abdicate all responsibility? It's what you've always done. Father tried to bring you in, you know that?
Well, I'm about to run off again unless you start talking.
I don't think you are going to run off. She goes and she shouts out the door and she says, Beric, fetch someone else to put on guard here and find out who's missing their armour.
Oh, God. That poor guy.
Or Sauron, whatever his name was.
Poor that guy.
Oh, Sauron.
Sit down, she says and points at a chair.
Alright, I'll sit.
Where do I start? We're at war, sister. There are forces arrayed against us. There are orcs to the north. The High King is dead, and suddenly the world is on fire, and everybody is moving armies. Father has taken everything and gone south. And I am supposed to maintain order, keep the peace, disband the orcs that are attacking us, and deal with this new peace trade with Krassos with no troops. I just need things to go smoothly here. I just need you to step up and do what is right for your family.
You're right. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. And she comes over and she hugs you. It's all right. She's on her knees by you in the chair and says, I'm sorry too. Look, I don't. There's reports coming in from scouts that I don't understand. And I wish Father were here, that I could talk to him, but he's not. And I just have to stumble through the best I can.
Let me help.
Thank you. If you could marry Lord Alfred, that would help.
This is for tomorrow. What can I do today? Tell me
Today?
about these reports.
She leans in and she shows you. Hang on. Are you going to work or are you? Wrong thing to push. There we go.
Oh.
She leans in. Thank you. And she shows you on the map, which is too small, but it's what it is. She says, we've had all manner of strange tidings from our scouts from the north. Their reports have come in, and then they have headed south because Father has recalled all of the troops. We are lacking information, and what we do have is contradictory and conflicting. Krassos troops have been seen far north of their border, and that makes no sense at all. Merchants have been spotted over by the Blacktooth Orcs, which makes less sense than that, and the Red Fist tribe. The Red Fist tribe have not taken advantage of our absence of an army and marched down south.
Okay. Let's be real for a moment. You need a peace treaty with Krassos.
That is true.
How long is that going to last if I am married?
Okay, but let's be reasonable here. You can't trust me.
Let me go north.
You just said I'm incompetent.
Use the skills that I have.
Not really.
I can bring back the information that you need. I can visit the Red Fist Orcs.
Just can't.
It's going to be more successful than a marriage to some...
All you
Jabroni
have to
from
do is
wherever.
go and... Are you determined to make my life difficult? Is that your lot in life? Is that what you're here for? Will you put on this
Oh,
earth?
stop feeling sorry for yourself.
Well, start feeling your duties. Well, I guess we'll both just sit here until you agree to be married. And if we have to sit here all night, then that's what it will do. She goes to the door. Dum dum. Have some food and wine brought up for one.
That is
She goes-
petty.
She goes and sits down in the chair.
Typical Alyssa.
Oh, you want to talk typical? And we'll come back to you in a second. Wow, doesn't even let her roll. That's right. There's a way out of the room. We will cut over here to back in the woods.
We have an unconscious York.
We do have an unconscious York. He's not doing so good.
Yeah, you've stabilised him.
Okay.
You ran over. You have the means to do it. It's not. I'm not gonna.
I-
Haha! I didn't say you did it immediately.
Yes,
Yes,
I did at the end of last session.
yes, you did. York is stabilised but unconscious.
And on a giant piece of ice, we can just push down the river. With magic.
Swish.
Yeah.
One thing that I will be doing is refilling the empty flask that we had well water with while the water is still glowing gold.
Sounds great to me.
Yes. I think
And
that's
you
a
got
good
an empty
idea.
one as well?
Yep, I've got one. York's got one.
Yep.
We've got like 3 healing potion things again.
Yes, indeed.
Amazing.
You can fill vials for healing potions from this well.
Well water.
Well water. That's right. And you can. So you've got a bunch of stuff in your resources.
Right. I'll take York, so I'll have 2.
Iris.
Yep.
Iris is feeling a slight irritation, like a little burning sensation every now and then. Not often, but a little bit on the back of your shoulder.
You alright?
Have I scratched myself or got some dryad goop?
I'll have a look for you. So I'll go and have a look.
Yeah, you peel back Iris's cloak and roll up the chemise she's got underneath, and you see that there is it's like a fresh tattoo. It's got a bit of raw skin around the outside of it, and there is a strange mark that is on Iris's shoulder.
Have I ever seen this mark before?
Well, there's another one in the small of her back,
Ooh, but this one is not fresh.
but no, the other one in the small of her back, as far as you know, has always been there. But
Okay.
the one on her shoulder, yeah, that clearly looks fresh.
And yeah, so do I recognise these marks at all?
Take me an Arcana check, please.
Right, I can do that for you. And I can get an 11.
An 11? No, man, you haven't seen this before. I mean, no, in 11, you haven't seen that. You're not like, I know what this mark is, but it looks very similar to the markings that are on the obelisk.
Ah, okay. So I'll have a look and I'll go, it looks like you've been branded. Maybe by the obelisk. You have a similar mark at the base of your spine here. You have a new one on your shoulder.
Oh.
Oh, is right. Does it hurt? Does it?
Yeah, it's raw and hot.
Is it worth using a healing word on
More
this?
sort of, here's a poultice of moss and weeds.
Yeah, I might do just a sort of medicine thing
Yeah.
to. Yeah, I'll put you together some moss and bits and pieces to see if I can.
Don't make me roll. It's fine. Yeah, you're by mystical well of healing properties.
Glug, glug.
So no, you create a little bandage and a poultice which you wrap around, and the well does soothe it. It does feel better.
Okay.
So the irritation, the itch has stopped.
I think it'll stop the pain, but I don't think it's going to make the mark go away if that's what you're looking for.
But you said there was another mark.
Yes. This one doesn't look fresh. It's in the small of your back. I'll trace you them out on the ground so that you can see what they look like.
Sure. Amy does this. Neve does this. And Iris, you can see that these two are marks that you do recognise. These are marks from the dolmen stone that you were tied to, or from the one that you've just touched. They are marks like the one that is on the pendant around your neck.
Yeah, I'll take you round to the stone.
Yeah.
Just York floating on his ice bed. Goes down the river every occasionally you shift it. Yeah.
Yeah, you do have to control water to keep it. In fact, I mean, yeah. At this point, the ice melts and Yorg falls into the river again.
Lasts for an hour, doesn't it?
Is it lost for an
How
hour?
long does shape water?
Let me find out.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Fine. Okay. At some point,
1
that's going to
hour,
run out.
Yeah, 1 hour.
That's fine.
That's
I'm letting
fine.
you know that at some point this is gonna.
We're doing okay at the moment.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Just stay there, buddy. Just stay there.
Just keep him on ice.
Oh. Do you want to get him out of the well? I mean, we could, but why?
He's in the best place for him. It's
Yeah.
like full of healing magic.
Swell.
What could possibly go wrong?
That's great. Cool.
I'll take you around to the dolmen and point out. It looks like that one of the runes.
Yes,
It
it
does.
does.
Is it looking any different, that rune on the...
It is not.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
So maybe the other one was from the first stone I touched.
Ah, that would make sense. Right. Wow. Yeah, this is interesting. I am at the... I am beyond the edges of my knowledge on any of this sort of
Yup.
stuff. I don't know if it's evil. I don't know if it's anything.
Maybe no one knows.
Maybe no one knows.
Some people
Did anything happen other than what we saw? Did anything happen to you when you touched it?
This one?
Mm.
I felt like I was in another place for an instant. A place where things were being kept. Things with wings. Things that were kind and angry and locked up.
Wow.
And they said one thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
They said, child.
Right.
What does it mean?
I don't know. I think we'll have to try and find out. You may be straying into territories here that nobody has experienced before.
Chat's like, that's what the tattoos are. Stone allergy.
This is fascinating, and I would love to learn more about this. I also don't want to put you at risk.
The poultice seems to be working.
Okay. Then, well, I think that we should. Now, have we made plans to regroup with you? I'm
3
sure
days.
we did. 3 days.
3 days in Hawk.
3 days in Hawk. So at this point, would we be heading up to the main water source?
No, that's too far away.
Right, so we have to head back.
That's right. Well, we did in
have to,
3
yeah.
days, yeah.
So we can't go up because there's contamination further up.
That's
the
true,
water.
but it's more than 2 days travel away.
Yeah. So we can't deal with the water source north of us now.
Well, I think York might need some rest.
I think so too. Now might be the time to start heading back and see if Freya has found us anything
You
useful.
hear a bellowing coming from off in the distance. And I say the distance, it's not actually that far. There's a charging towards you. You guys both speak Estalian?
Yep.
Yep.
Great. Something very large in the bushes. You can't tell what it is, but it's coming through the woods. And it's shouting a word in Estalian. But the word is not pronounced very well.
Right.
And it's coming through saying, practice! I'm going to leave it.
Practice.
It's the Hulk.
Go for it. You've been sat for,
Several hours.
a couple
It's
of
probably
hours.
the early hours of the morning.
Alyssa has relented and got you some food, and she's had like a whole bottle of wine at this point. And you've had some too.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what I think? I think Father has just gone down to a town a little bit south. He's just taken everyone and they're all just waiting. And they're going to come back in like a week and go, oh, Alyssa, you just fucked everything up. You just can't be trusted. Well, clearly, you're just terrible at this. That's what it is. And that's why he's gone, that's what I think.
Alyssa, you're not a terrible leader.
Well, I've not been great. I've been here, a day? And already I've got guards who are disobeying orders and letting people into the castle, giving them their armor. And I've got a bunch of reports from scouts that I can't ask them any more about because the scouts have just buggered off. And I've got a sister who refuses to do as she's told.
What if I solve 2 of your problems?
You drink now.
Can I down it?
You down it?
Yes.
Yeah, go for it. Oh no.
Nutrition say?
No, that's fine. You can down it. It's just wine. She goes, that was good wine. More wine! She shouts.
More wine!
Go on then. How do you solve my problems?
So, we need
A marriage.
and information from the north.
Yeah.
How about I do both?
I'm listening.
So, the delegation from Kratos is arriving tomorrow.
That is correct.
Will we be carted away? Would I be in any kind of enclosed space?
I imagine you'd be on a horse. Why? You want a carriage?
If the daughter of Merrick
Yeah, the Baron of Merrick.
were en route to be wed to the son of Kratos, but to tragically perish in a fire en route. With this,
Well, this just got dark.
with
This
this,
really did! Great. So the plan is...
solve our diplomatic issues while allowing me to be free, a free agent, still working in the best interests of Merrick.
Alright, Freya, just Freya, hang on, let me just stop you there for a second. The goal of a marriage is to soothe tensions between 2 houses. If one of those houses sends a child off to be wed in a foreign land and that child dies in a fire before that foreign land wedding can take place, how exactly does that help the situation? That gets you out of the marriage. It doesn't help me at all. Yet again, Freya, you are only thinking about yourself. Where's that wine?
What if she got married?
Yes, what if you got married?
What do you mean, yes?
I was just thinking.
What?
One of the voices in my head said, what if you got married?
Then, who would govern Galatea? You? If I...
Bring one of those foolish boys from Kratos here and let him prance about in the castle while you rule, allowing you to keep an eye on our good friends from Kratos and allowing me to keep an eye on the north.
This is not the deal that was arranged.
Maybe it's the deal that could be arranged if I died in a fire?
Just stop! She looks at the fire that is still just dimly glowing. It's mostly burned out now. And she moves her chair so she's in front of it. Says, what is wrong with you? No fires! Look, it's late and I'm tired. Do you promise me you won't just run away again?
I promise.
Alright. She comes and opens the door. And she gestures for you to go out.
Yeah.
And then she closes the door behind her and she says to one of the guards, please escort the Lady Freya to her room and see that she stays there.
Who's the guard? Do I know them?
You know every guard.
You do
Do
know
I know
them.
that they like me?
You do know them, and you think that they do like you. You think they've got a pretty sweet spot for you, but right now she does not.
Okay.
Right now, this is Sauron's wife.
No.
She she pushes you roughly and says, "Milady." and gestures for you to lead the way.
Okay, yeah, I'm just going to go to my room.
Yeah.
I'm going to deal with her.
Okay, you go to your room. Your room is in the tower.
Mhm.
It's nicely appointed.
Maybe
Tell me what your
directly-
room's about.
Well, I think the most important aspect of my room is that it's directly above the room with the map.
Do you think that?
Yes.
I think my room
My
is the
room-
room with the map. Yeah.
My room is spotless. It's absolutely gorgeous. You know, you've got the big throws over the bed. It's quite a royal-looking room, and it looks untouched because I don't actually spend any time in here.
Oh yeah, this
There's a
bed's
few
got.
little compartments which have alcohol and knives in, but other than that,
Alcohol and knives.
I'm not
It's a lady's
sleeping.
bedroom, what would you expect?
I'm not sleeping in the princess bed. I'm going to the toilet.
Okay,
Oh,
so your
cooking with
room
friends.
is
Oh, well,
your room is more or less above the room with the map. In that you are in a tower, so your room is about 4.5 stories up.
Yeah.
And on the first level is the room with the map. It's down and slightly curved around the tower.
Okay.
So you have to get down.
Do I
3.5
have any
stories.
tools like a pencil and some old-looking paper?
A pencil and some old-looking paper. You can certainly find
All right.
those.
From memory, I'm going to attempt to make a copy of the map.
Go on.
Oh, okay. That's really exciting.
All right. Please, yes, do it right there, and we'll. Okay, this is fabulous. Freya goes, this will be great. She goes to do this, and we're going to cut back to over here. This is just gold. Yeah. A large creature comes bull rushing through the trees.
Great. I'm gonna pull.
The dryad
Yeah.
fucks right off.
Great.
And suddenly there is a creature, it's right here, which appears before you. You are. Let's have.
Oh, this could be fun.
Ooh.
Yes, indeed.
Battle map.
Battle maps. It doesn't necessarily have to be a battle. Ho ho.
Most
He
exciting.
laughed. Please place yourselves on the map. The lake is directly behind you.
Okay, cool.
And coming through the trees, Yorga's on the lake.
Is he still on the lake?
He is still.
He is. I was about to pull him out, but we haven't got him
and
there yet.
this thing appears.
But actually, we're probably.
The
safe.
dryad is hidden, and he comes charging forward. Practice! Immediate reactions.
I'm going to lift Yorg's panel of ice up onto the banks so that he's not going to drown or drift away downstream.
I'm going to duck behind a tree.
Okay, so you run and duck behind a tree, and you go and get Yorg and start pulling.
Magic.
Oh, you magic the
Yeah,
ice.
magic him.
So you can magic the ice. Where are we at? So you can magic the ice up, but it's a block of ice. You can't pull it up and onto the. All right. So you tip the ice, and Yorg rolls down and off and onto the.
Cool, there we go. As long as he's not going to drown, that's the important
It looks like he's not going to drown. There is a block of ice standing. It's still floating next to him.
Great.
That was what you did. The ogre, for that is what it is, looks at you. This thing is. Ogres are about 10 feet tall. And he is really quite. If it was a proportion like a human, you'd say it was corpulent.
Okay.
But it's not, and most of that is probably muscle. Ogres are just really big and really chunky creatures. It's got a face that looks, it's quite round, spherical is this ogre. It's got a big round body and a big round head and a big round jowly cheeks. And you have turned away and he comes charging in towards you. He's got a big stout club in his hand.
Yeah.
And he comes rushing in and he says, "Practice!" And charges 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps over these rocks as if they weren't even there.
Yeah.
6. And he swings his club in towards you.
Okay.
Does a 12 hit you.
No.
That is frustrating. What would you like to do?
Do you want some initiative?
No, it's fine. I've got an order, so we'll
I'm
prevent that.
gonna I'm gonna duck out of the way, and in Astalian I'm going to shout, "Friends! Friends!" and hope that that might stop it at least a little bit.
Okay, so duck yourself out of the way. You've taken your whole action as a disengage. That's okay.
Yeah.
Initiative. Yeah, so you
Very
duck back and you say,
solid.
"Friends, friends," and the ogre looks at you and has a smile on his face, and he says, "Friends, practice."
No practice.
I'll duck round and go, practice! And then I'm going to use minor illusion to make like a knight just standing there with a shield.
That is extremely cool. Bling.
A little bit further away.
Yeah, you can get that. Okay, so that's cool. The ogre goes, "Yes, yes," and he turns and he sees the knight and he goes, "Friends, practice!" And he swings his club into the knight. It
At which
goes,
point I drop the illusion.
it goes.
And the night is gone.
He looks up and sees you. He says, "You practice."
Okay, put another one. This time on this side.
He sees it, he turns, and you can see he gingerly moves around with his club, and he doesn't poke it. He says, "Practice!" At the knight.
Oh, he wants the knight to hit him.
Yeah.
And the knight does nothing. The knight is a static illusion. The ogre comes over and says, so it comes over to the knight and pushes it, and his hand goes whoop through the knight. "No, friend!" He turns and looks around. You guys aren't hiding. Oh, you. Yeah, he's engaging with you. You're the one who's engaged with him. "Practice, you." "Chief say practice." And he points at himself and he says, "Pada,
Okay.
you."
Iris.
"Iris." And he comes into you and he swings a club at you. Oh my god, come on, ogre.
He's bad. He needs the practice.
He's got +5 to hit and he can't roll anything. Oh, he's got +6 to hit. That's better. Does a 12 hit you, Iris?
It does.
Yeah, take it. Okay. It's alright, ogres don't hit that hard.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Would you like to take 12 points of damage, please?
Not really.
Yeah, you
Sorcerer's famed for their hit points.
You note that he did not go full out. This ogre charged in towards you and swung and did only half the dice of damage that he could have done. He's clearly not. Take me a nature check, please.
13.
On a 13, ogres hit each other to talk to each other. It's a part of how they communicate. So ogres whack each other and expect to be whacked as well to emphasize points or to give in things. You know, clapping ogre around the head can mean, "Hey, good job, buddy. You don't speak ogre, but you this is knowledge that you have of the world. This is kind of how ogres interact." And so you don't think this ogre is is out to get you. It's just, "Hey, let's have a chat," and emphasize that by occasional whacks with clubs. "Practice, Iris." Turns and points at you.
Yep.
"Iris."
No.
"Pada." "Iris."
Neve.
I'm going to take this opportunity to walk
Yes,
away.
yes.
turns in frustration and swing. In fact, take me a concentration check, please.
Plus Constitution, isn't it? So 16.
On a 16, the knight is still there.
Yep.
He goes, and he turns and swings at the knight in frustration. That's his full strength. He goes straight through. Ni Paga Ni yeah, you're behind a tree. Iris.
Great.
At which point I'm going to minor illusion over here in my voice.
Okay, I love that. It's a great use of minor illusion. And he turns and says, Iris! And starts moving off that way. This is gone.
We get York and go.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be shadowing behind the ogre. Come on, quick, this way. Come get me.
Into the lake.
Yes.
Oh man, that
minor illusion. Yes,
that
some
ogre
grass.
Yeah, you know what? That ogre would have such a good time in that lake, but I don't think it's fair on the on the dryad.
It's just straight down the water.
Okay,
probably
please,
It's not that deep for an ogre.
Yeah,
please make me a deception check. It's opposed, so I wouldn't worry too hard.
Well, I got an 8.
Oh, that's right. He rolled a 9. I bet you're better at deception than he
that's
is at
in
not
total.
being
I only
deceived.
rolled a 4. Oh, but
You got a 4 in total.
I did.
Really? You got minus 4?
I got an 8 in total. I got 4 plus 4.
That's fine. He rolled a 6. And
Oh,
he's
okay.
sorry, he rolled a 9, 8, 7, 6. That's exactly right. Yeah, he's got minus, he's got minus 3 intelligence. He's an ogre.
That's fine.
So,
Wow.
yeah, it's not, like I said, it's opposed. You
Yeah.
don't need to worry too hard. He runs off going, Iris, friend, practice, and you hear,
And I just some more grass over the lake.
wow, okay.
The lake's not that deep. It'll come up to like
Yeah,
his knee.
no,
No, but it's just,
grass. And he steps into the lake, and yeah, you see he steps on the ground, like face first, full into the lake.
Now you can shoot water through the stream.
Iris! He starts through the lake, wading away with his club. You hear the sound of splashing going off.
Cool. He's not going to be a problem for us.
No,
I think he's a nice guy, he's not doing anything wrong.
Who knows? He's gone now.
Yep. Ogres. Yeah. I think
I might take a few glugs of the healing
I
water.
think that's
You can fully heal. You don't need to expend resources. While you are at the well, you can fully heal.
amazing. Ogres.
He said a chief.
Yeah.
Do they have clans of ogres, or is
What
that...
do I know about ogres?
Nature check.
Thank you. 23.
Quite a lot. You know lots about ogres.
Yeah, 23. Wrong one. Get the right one up. Is it? Ooh, no. I've turned the thing off. Hang on. Yeah,
No.
Oh, good God, Josh.
There we go.
There we go. Right. Get my clicks better. On a 23, ogres come in clans. It is rare to find ogres. Really rare. As in, almost unheard of to find ogres that speak Estalian. They don't do it. It's not it's considered beyond them.
Okay.
Because they are giant,
Wow, this was like...
hulking brutes. And they are,
Einstein ogre.
what everybody knows about ogres is that they live in small packs, not very many, like family units. You might have 5 ogres if they've got a bunch of kids, but that's what they
bigger
do.
than 5 is a crowd.
Bigger than 5 is crazy. You meet ogres in 1s and 2. They're really solitary creatures, and they're really stupid. And they have a language. They all speak ogre, but their language is guttural and involves grunting and hitting each other with clubs. And I mean, there's some question as to whether or not they're sentient.
Okay.
That one was.
Well, definitely was. Chief said practice. That's unbelievable to meet an ogre that speaks Estalian. Now, either we've got a tribe of very smart ogres, which I think we'd know about, or more likely, this is an ogre that has been co-opted by another group. I think that's reasonable to assume.
Kuwabi?
Like, if I was a military person and I found a smart enough ogre that I could train them, boy, would I.
So
Ogres do get deployed occasionally by military units. You might find an ogre because you can... So, I mean, ogres are clearly sentient. The people that are like, maybe they're not even sentient. That's, I mean, it's the biggest well.
they're Browser.
They're Browser. If you've encountered ogres, you can deploy them. They can, you can pay them in food and say, go that way and kill those people. They won't understand you, but they know what you want from.
Yeah. Well, also the fact that the orcs do orcs speak Estalian?
Yeah.
Okay, so the fact that the ogre said chief makes
doesn't
me
mean
think...
it's an ogre chief, could be an orc chief.
Well, yeah, this is the thing. It makes me think that this is probably, especially considering where we are at the moment, part of an orc deployment rather than, say, a Krassos deployment.
It would be extraordinarily unusual for Krassos to be deploying.
I know, but it's unusual times.
Yeah, that's true.
And that was an unusual ogre.
Absolutely true, yeah.
My bet would be that is part of an orc unit.
So if it was Krassos military, it would probably be speaking Browser rather than Stalin.
Yeah,
Yes.
Browser wouldn't speak Estalian. Why would they?
Nice.
I don't know if Freya speaks Estalian.
I don't think so.
We've had this.
Yeah, no, we've had
I
that
think
discussion before.
Why would she?
Cool.
No.
Yeah. So this is almost certainly part of an orc deployment.
Sweet.
Or an ogre tribe.
Or an ogre tribe, but it's unlikely.
I'm going to cut back to Freya. Freya, yo, you're in your room. Can I see, please?
I
Let's
have prepared my map.
have a look. Okay, so we're going to have
I'm
a
sure you can't tell the difference.
have a vice versa before and after comparison. All right, so this is the map that Freya saw. Looks like this, and the map that she drew looks like this. I think it's pretty great. Once again, the map she saw, and the map she drew.
That's not terrible.
It's marvellous.
Like you're missing a
Contains the
whole
key.
river.
Contains the key bits of information. Some of the orcs are in the wrong place, but you know.
All of the rivers.
Some
are
orcs, question mark, some more orcs. There are rivers.
Yeah.
And Krassos is that
You know
river.
what I like the most? I like the sun at the top. I think that's my favourite
Are
bit.
you gonna have like?
Oh,
a
and
red
you've
line
written
in
on
your
it,
line?
sorry, sis.
In the left. Yeah.
Oh, is that the one you're
Oh,
leaving?
you're gonna-
Astoundingly good. Okay, cool.
Oh no!
So you've drawn this out. Yes, you have managed to. And you've written Krapos instead of Krassos. That's great.
Okay.
A
Yep.
circle.
Honestly, I am going to attempt some acrobatics. With my
Okay.
thieves' tools, I do have some rope.
Yep.
I'm going to tie myself to a bedpost or whatever is convenient.
Sure.
I'm sure I've done this several times already.
Tying yourself to
And I'm
bed.
going to attempt
Oh.
to gain entry to the room with the actual map
Okay. So you
via the unconventional entrance.
please roll me an acrobatics check. This is
I think you might be able to guess what.
spectacular.
Queen of
Freya
the
just
Nat
rolled.
1.
This is amazing. Okay, so
You
look and you
rolled
realise
121.
polarizing, right?
Yeah.
You realise that you don't have to, you don't have enough rope to make it down. So you've pulled all the bed sheets off.
Yeah.
Your long ones, all the spare ones that you've managed to find, even some of the curtain poles that you've got, and you've tied down this incredibly long rope. You've tied it to a bed sheet and you tie it to the bedpost and you test it and you go, okay, this is going to be fine. And so you get out and you are slowly making your way down the sheer side of the castle. And you realise that you need to rotate around 90 degrees. And so you start moving sideways and desperately trying to keep your grip. You've got it pretty tight and you're doing okay. You walk yourself around and you go, right, now just 3 floors down until I get to where I need to go. And you get to the end of your rope and you realise that you haven't made it long enough. And there's and something, one of the knots that you tied up above,
Is there anything I can grab?
starts to go. There's another juddering and you go, oh shit, this is going to go. You're halfway down a tower. Is there anything you can grab?
Anything like that?
There is a parapet that you can, if you jumped, you could grab.
I'm going for it.
Okay, please make me a acrobatics check.
Oh, okay. 14.
Okay.
14.
Please
Okay.
give me
Oh,
average.
sorry. 16.
16. 16's amazing. You got +6 acrobatics. You got +7.
3. Yes, 7.
Oh, disgusting. Yeah, you leap like an absolute ninja. You abandon your rope and bedsheets contraption, leaving it waving down the side of the tower, and you land on the parapet.
Yeah.
Cat-like, you don't even make a sound. You can see about 10 feet below you and 5 feet to one side. There's a diagonal line. You can see the window that you are going for, which would be an incredible leap, but you could make it.
What is the room that I'm in front of?
You're not in front of the room.
Okay. Well, alright, I'm taking the leap then.
Okay, make me another acrobatics check.
Nice. 18.
18. Okay, so
Right,
you
I've
go,
recovered.
this climbing nonsense was a bad idea. Oh yeah, I'm a ninja. So you leap over, you parkour your way from a couple of walls down the side of a 5-story tower like it ain't no thing, ending up backflipping and hanging by the back of your hands on the window, and you flip yourself up and into the room.
Amazing. I've actually done that in real life. That's canon.
Amazing. So, yeah, you feel like an absolute ninja. And you turn and you hear a snoring. And there is a guard asleep in the room. Sorry, go on that way. Okay. If there's a... Yes, there is a guard asleep in the room.
This is not good.
It's not ideal.
He's literally guarding the map. Is
Yeah.
that important?
Your sister's worried.
Ah.
But he's not awake, he's not alert, he's not doing a very good job. Maybe he's not even guarding the map. Maybe he's just popped in for a snooze.
Alright.
Oh,
I am gonna go with my original plan. I'm gonna sneak over to the map and attempt quietly to replace it with my version.
Okay, so you sneak over to the map, your every hair standing on end as you make your way over. You take, and you realise that there's loads of different pieces all over the map. There's markers and there's pins, some of which are stuck into the table. That's right. So yeah, there's markers and pins stuck all over the map. And so you're going to slowly, one by
I'm
one,
taking them
take those out. Okay, there's quite a few. So you end up...
I've got... Yeah, I'm doing it.
You got the time? Okay, cool.
Quite.
So you end up with a handful of these
Yeah.
pins. And the guard licks his lips and kind of rolls over again in his chair.
Alright, I'm gonna put the pins.
Yeah.
What else is in this room?
This is a study, so there's a big desk
Alright.
on which this map
I'm gonna
is.
try and conceal the pins in the desk.
Freya looks around for a second and then kind of throws them under the desk.
Gently.
That's fine, it's a carpeted floor.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, there's now a pile of pins on the floor.
Okay. And now
Caltrops.
I'm going to replace the map.
Okay. You go and reach the map and you try and pull it up and you see that there's a couple of weights on the sides and you gently push those off and you take the map up. Roll me a stealth check, please.
Oh, it's off the table.
Oh, 26.
26, just casual, like it ain't no thing. Wow. On a 26, the camera pans out and you are back out the window, holding your eyes and looking down at the map you've drawn, going, before you drop with an acrobatic flip, land cat-like and prone, stand yourself up, dust yourself off, and walk handily.
I'm walking back in.
Ooh.
I'm going back to my room. I'm assuming I'm going to have a consultation with the guy outside.
You go back to your room.
Yes.
I got the thing, I'm out of the castle. Now I know it's a trap. It looks like a trap. I go back into the castle, having successfully snuck
Why are
out.
you going back in?
Okay,
I'm going to
astounding.
get married.
You're gonna get married.
You're going through with it.
Well, I'm going to die in a fire. But...
That's...
I do have some cares for my sister.
I understand.
Oh my god! You're gonna make everything so much worse.
That's astounding.
I'm
Yield little
helping.
faith.
Alright, so you head through the front door.
It is night time.
It is night time, it's locked.
I'm sneaking about.
Yeah, you have to pick the lock on the front door, please.
On the front door.
That is correct.
Oh my gosh. So I've got.
Yeah,
these
the
doors.
keep doors have been locked. It is night time. It is the middle of the night.
Yes. What am I rolling? I've got.
Your thieves
lockpicks
tools.
in my
Yeah, thieves tools proficiency, that's what you're rolling.
What am I adding?
Right,
Is it-
dex bonus
uh,
plus your proficiency.
12.
12. The door is locked. You cannot pick it.
How much do I care about my sister? Is this the door to my room?
No, this is the
No,
door
this
to
is
the
the
keep.
castle.
You
That's
can
gotta be. Okay.
could try
I've
and-
got to know another way into the castle with all the shenanigans that I've been up to.
several.
So.
All right. Well, we'll have you thinking about a. Have you thinking about a way to get back in? We're gonna take a 10-minute break here, guys, and yeah, we're gonna take a 10-minute break, and then we'll come back at. It's now 9:15, so we'll be back at 9:25 to crack on with where we left
I'm going to
off.
stay here and talk about some of
Yeah.
the crunch that we were talking
That
about.
sounds like a really
just
good
still
choice.
chat in about
I wanna
some
see
of the
the chat.
decisions.
All right,
Can I see the chat?
You certainly
been
may.
made in for character selections and a bit of
Okay.
a background. Some people still aren't entirely sure exactly what some of the builds of the characters are, so I'm going to take a bit of crunch time.
Hooray! Good choice.
Oh, these are amazing.
Yeah, chat's been on it today.
Oh, perfect getaway. Now to return what I stole.
They don't know it's
Need
stolen
chocolate
yet.
eggs.
They don't know it's stolen, and I'm going to make such a fucking ruckus tomorrow. No one's going to check that map until after I'm gone.
That's
Right.
incredible.
Oh,
The guard in the room.
He was sleeping on duty. He will not want to report his failure.
That's interesting.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh,
And all other things.
also,
which
I'll keep an eye on the chat. Chat, if you have any questions, I will do my best to answer them as well. If you've got any
Having
questions about
rolled a
character
natural
backgrounds
20.
or builds or anything like
Oh.
that, let me know, and I will do my best to answer them.
Yes, having rolled a natural 20, the local geography shifts to make this map.
It's like, well, I guess that's what it is.
Oh boy.
Where on this map is a circle?
There's several
You can have a look
things
at
There's some
that.
like
circles, like there's some
They're
circles.
islands.
Oh.
No, no.
I thought they were territories.
Oh, yeah,
There's a circle.
there are 3 orc
I'm
territories.
not a
as well.
professional
Sure.
map.
I know there's two
Okay.
walk territories on here, and
Amazing.
Anyway,
Yes, to fill you in on what you missed while you were out of the room, Freya attempted the theft, was successful with the theft,
Like so successful.
Landed-
Like really successful.
incredibly outside in the darkness, and it's gone, now to head back in. Ah,
Oh,
there we go. Oh yeah, if you turn that off, otherwise it will
Spoilers.
drag all your data
Oh,
away.
indeed.
Yes.
okay. So are you despairing?
No, I'm
Just
doing
oh, okay, right. Amy, tell us about the level 2 choices that you've made for Neat.
Okay.
So, which subset of druid have you selected?
Oh, I have chosen Swamp Druid because...
A little bit higher. So, are you a moon druid or a land druid?
Oh,
for
land
example? So,
druid,
druid of the land.
naturally, because, like, you can't have swamps on the moon, maybe?
The old moon swamps. And so yes, you selected swamp. Why did you pick swamp?
Because I looked at the spells that you get for different things, and Swamp Druid seems to fit the kind of water land things that I'm doing. It's got things like water walk and stuff like that, so that seemed to fit the best for what I'm doing.
Not because you're Shrek.
Not because I'm Shrek.
Okay, good. And have you thought about which animals you might have experienced to wild shape into?
Yeah, so I did actually chat with Josh about this a while ago and forgot because, like, I don't retain this information in between sessions. I have other things going on. But we've got a bit of an issue because I am, like, a water druid, but certainly at this point, I can't technically, by the rules, play animals that can swim. Because, like, I don't know, it's too powerful or something like that.
Yeah.
So...
Just so powerful if you're a fish.
Yeah. So one of the things that we were talking about, we might house rules it that I could play an otter. Because otter is useful and, like, really fits for the theming of the character. So otter, maybe, but, like, just more generally...
It's not like the moon affects the ocean at all.
No, that's
No,
true.
definitely not. Yeah. I've heard that was Pixies.
I know, I did look at Coastal Druids chat, and it's good, but I just think that Swamp gives me a better skill set. And it's not like I'm ever going to be introducing myself as, hello, I am Neve of the Land Swamp Druids. So it's like, as long as it fits for octopuses are okay on that.
Octopus would have like
Octopus would be so good.
Sloths are good swimmers, it's true.
Are they?
Slow, but good, yeah.
I didn't know that. That's so
Go
cool.
watch like Planet Earth 2. It's like a brilliant thing of the sloth trying to find a mate and really slowly swimming and going, is my mate here? No, I'm a disappointed sloth. I'll carry on swimming.
Yeah, Octopus Druid is the first step on the path to mind flay. So Neve has not seen any crocodiles yet, but I know that we might potentially be going to an area where I could study crocodiles, and then I might be able to do that.
Okay, so what kind of animals are you thinking you could turn into?
So just at the moment, I think I could definitely turn into some kind of small doopy
Some
bird.
kind of West Country lass.
Some kind of small doopy bird, which is...
No, you're not allowed to fly either.
I'm not allowed to do flying.
No, you're not
Damn it! In which case, some like small squeaky little doopy mouse
Squirrel?
for like hiding. Squirrel would be a good one.
Because then you get to climb trees and
You
stuff.
get to climb the trees. So yeah, like mouse.
And also you make dogs go, squirrel.
Yeah, cat probably. I'd imagine I've seen cats before. Can't go bigger than a wolf. I don't know. There are things in forests, right? There are animals. Badger, maybe. Is badger bigger than a wolf? No,
Badger's probably about the right
Man,
CR
I'll
for a
be a
badger.
badger. Badgers are tough as fuck. Yes. Oh, I don't know if there's actually like
There are stats for a
stats.
badger, I believe.
Yes, I'm totally being a badger. Battle badger.
Dire badger.
Now, dire badger would be cool, but I don't think I'm there. Yeah, so like those kind of duck. No, ducks fly
flying.
and swim.
You could be a kiwi.
I'm not gonna be a kiwi. Not ever.
Or
It's not gonna happen.
okay. Like a penguin. Have you ever seen a penguin?
No.
No.
Definitely not seen a penguin. Like Neve has been like really working on like her corner of the world with the little well, and like that does not involve
kind of-
David Attenborough or documentaries.
Yeah, if a druid watches a David Attenborough, can they? Do
That's really interesting. Yeah.
they have to
Like,
experience
does it have to be like animals? Do you have to have got
Puffins
the DNA?
Wibble Master, I'm sorry, puffins fly.
Yeah,
We've already
puffins
ruled out
fly.
anything that flies.
They fly and like swim? I don't know if they swim.
They
Do
dive.
They dive.
They dive into water,
okay.
so it's all good. It's fine. They do dive into water to catch fish and things, but no, they mostly fly.
And like I did get given a worm in my little cutscene at the beginning. Like Josh did like worm.
Did the worm? I
Um,
didn't know you did break
like-
something.
yeah. So like I guess worms technically, though I don't know how useful that would be. Like soil analysis. Yes. I'll dig down and find out like where the ancient ruins are.
Really slowly.
Really slowly.
Okay, so what have we got? We've got squirrel, cat, badger.
Yeah, squirrel, cat, badger, mouse.
Making them quiet.
They are quiet, very quiet. And
this?
otter. Can I house rule otter? We did talk about this before.
Yeah, so according to the rules as written, you're
Yeah.
not allowed creatures with the swim speed until level 4, which I think is dark. Yes, of course
So
you
we were including chat and talking about the
Sounds good to me.
And yeah,
so we
like,
could have any swim speed.
I
creature.
can go.
So could she be a fish, for example?
Fish is fine, otter is fine, shark is probably not.
Yeah, no, that's no good. Yeah, and as it's up to the size of a wolf, it makes sense that I would be a wolf. Raccoons do not exist in this particular forest, I don't think.
What?
But
then-
like maybe there are things like raccoons.
That kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah,
Wild cats.
something with opposable
Raccoon.
thumbs. This is this for me is the big difference between a raccoon and like a fox. Is raccoons have opposable thumbs.
Yeah, raccoon's pretty great.
So if I was in raccoon form, technically I could still wield
Wield.
my shillelagh.
But you couldn't. You'd have to cast the spell, then wild shape because you can maintain it. 'Cause it lasts for a while, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
But you couldn't cast the spell whilst a raccoon.
No.
So you have to go shillelagh, raccoon,
Raccoon.
shillelagh.
Exactly, yeah. But I have
If that is a
shillelagh.
thing you are like determined to do,
Just to shout raccoon shillelagh in raccoon.
that's a thing we can definitely talk about.
Land shark? Land shark? Is this a real thing?
A land shark is a bulette. They are way too high CR for you to turn into, so no.
Fine.
Aren't they also the giant bullets that go across the screen?
Yeah, that Mario can jump on, but not get hit by.
Weirdly, yeah, because if you jump on a bullet, it falls down.
Yeah, that's
If it's
physics.
big enough.
Come on, Jacob, you're a teacher.
You get the momentum, Josh.
Mario clearly has infinite mass.
Well, then he wouldn't be able to move because the force required to accelerate him would also be infinite.
Well, he has
He's
near
just
infinite
moving
mass.
the-
Near infinite
Right, so
mass.
he needs near infinite force
Which
to
he
accelerate
has.
him.
Have you not
Moving
seen
the
those
universe
mushrooms that
around
he eats? They give him crazy bursts of power. All right, and we're back.
Cool.
Thank you very much. Okay, so how about is chat suggesting land sharks? Yeah, that seems
Yeah.
reasonable. They can't swim. I don't know. Bullets probably can swim. Well, maybe not. I don't know. No, they're earth creatures. Yeah. What else?
Spicy crisp?
Spicy crisps.
These
Wow!
are
Don't
new
fat
crisps.
shame Mario. Thank you, chat. Okay.
Don't know if they're any good.
Well, infinite muscle weighs more than infinite fat.
That's true.
Is what Iris said. As she baked her wings away. A bit of a weird thing to say. Jorg comes to.
He does?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know about this, David?
Jorg comes to, and he shakes his head groggily, takes his glasses off, looks down, rubs his forehead a bit.
I hand him some well water and say, drink this.
He does. He says, "Thank you." Looks around and he says, "Are we done here?"
Mm-hmm. Well, eat and move.
That was left of the cookies. That you
Neve cleansed the well. The dryad returned to normal and has since disappeared,
Good. That's good.
chased by an ogre.
An ogre. Jorg's immediately. He's got his axe in his hand and he's looking around.
It was a brainy ogre as well, but it's gone that way, so I think we'll be alright going that way.
Sure. Should we head off?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay. And so the three of you get going.
Mm-hmm.
Too real, Josh. Too real. And so you head off down back the way you came. Are you going to follow the river out of the forest? Or yeah, sweet.
Well, make sure Jorg is fully healed and replenished healing potions for us
Yeah.
before we leave the well.
Now, we don't know this, but it is like this way, and then we go along. Oh no, it's in fact it's this one here.
Yeah.
There, and then down.
Yeah, that's right.
That's where we are.
Oh, cool.
As well, that you can follow down and then head on along to Hawk, which
And we did discover that on top of this hill, there is a tomb.
Oh, that's the tomb hill.
Yes,
Yeah.
when you have a map, you'll be able to mark that kind of thing in.
Mhm.
But at
But
the
we
moment, the
don't
map
have it
is
yet.
held by Freya. You're supposed to be meeting in about a day's time down in Hawk.
You could do with a good drink in the tavern, I reckon.
So you make your way down to Hawk. On your way out of the woods, which is much less treacherous than your way into the woods proved, you, Neve, are immediately your sense of nature has come back to your rescue, and you can walk your way through these woods as if you were born here. You know your way through. It's absolutely fine. Everything is. You go, okay, this is fine. There's some creatures over that way. You pause to let them pass, and you lead the group with unerring accuracy. I mean, you're following the river, which is easy, but you take them out of the forest with little handicap. As you,
Is there any, because you do druid messages, don't you?
I do.
Is there any message you're going to leave?
Yeah, I want to. When we come to the points where people had put, warning, dangerous, scary, evil wood, I'm going to update those blogs.
sweet.
And put whatever the equivalent of the date is, and go. The well has been cleansed. There is a dryad watching over it.
Great. As you walk with Neve, Iris, you see her just gently stroke along the bark of some of the trees, and a little bit of moss grows.
I'm going to spend a little bit of time when we're close to it, just recreating. So if somebody does watch it, they'll see a very brief Cliff Notes version of the battle play
That's
out
cool.
over the lake.
Yeah, that's really cool. In fact, as you do that, you see that the message takes over the canopy as well, and various shades of orange and strange umbers come into the leaves and hang over. It looks, natural, just not normal. And you go, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. As you approach the edge of the forest, you hear and the dryad appears stepping out of one of the trees.
Okay.
And she leaves herself half into the tree as she leans out to talk to you, and she says, she speaks in Sylvan to you.
I don't speak Sylvan.
No, I know. But she speaks in Sylvan to you.
Specifically to Iris.
That is correct. And you don't understand a word she's saying, but she's looking at you as she says it. And you understand her saying, there was another like you before who came and touched the stone. Be careful.
I will translate for you.
Who? What did they look like?
Assume I'm translating.
Yeah,
this.
but she splits her attention. It was a dwarf with flaming hair.
Dwarf with flaming hair.
I hope he's okay.
Tattooed, marked,
When he left,
but not before. What did he do?
took the power and slew my brother, she says, with no emotion in her voice. He did not have to. Be careful. And she slides back into the tree and disappears.
Wow, that's amazingly useful. Right.
Hashtag clean well. Tag your tweets.
So, you're not alone in this.
I don't know what to do with that. A dwarf with flaming hair. Okay, so we keep an eye out for dwarves with flaming hair.
Mhm.
And we try and find out what's going on. And it sounds
Probably,
like he's not a very nice person.
Yes, yeah, probably not approach directly unless we have big sticks.
Lucky dog.
Yes.
I didn't realise we were calling him that now.
Okay, we're back to the front gate of
Right.
the keep.
So, from my time sneaking in and out of the castle repeatedly,
Yes.
I know that there is a secret entrance
Well, I mean, but if by secret entrance you mean kitchen window, yes, there is a secret entrance.
That's what I call secret
And the
entrance.
the guards around this area are quite good friends of mine because I have snuck past them generously before.
Oh yeah, but you are persona non grata.
That is
right
true.
now.
So in theory, in normal situations, that would be fine.
So I am going to flip into the kitchen window.
Okay, so roll me a stealth check.
15.
On a 15, you approach there's a window with a large square piece of batting in the way, which you push out of the way and move down. It pops inside the window. It's put up by the cooks, and you pop it out, catch it on the piece of wooden dowel, and then gently lower it to the ground. You've done this a lot. You've done this many times before. As you feel the wood hit your fingers again, there's almost ridges in it, how often you've moved it down. And you smile to yourself in memory of all the times that you snuck out to go and run off in the forest or go hunting when you weren't supposed to, or any number of the reasons that you've come out of the forest, come out of the castle. And so you pop it back in and you flip yourself into the kitchen. You pause for a moment. You run your hand along to steady the pot that you know is on the nail in the wall that almost always comes off. And you sidle down off the counter. And you make your way through the castle, and you see that there's a guard walking by on patrol, and you slip into a doorway and watch him walk past you. He doesn't even notice that you are there. And for an instant, you are transported back to when you were 6 and you had just stolen a tray of hot buns and you had stuffed yourself into a doorway and the cook had run straight past you. And you savoured the taste of those buns, and they're in your mouth again as the guard walks past you without even noticing you. He passed by close enough to reach out and touch you, and he didn't even see you. And a grin splits your face from ear to ear, and you realise that this is fun, and that you're good at this. Please go to level 2.
Ooh,
And
yeah!
gain the cunning action ability to dash, hide, or disengage as a bonus action.
It's probably not very good.
Oh, yeah, I hear it's overrated and not very good. Other than the thing that it makes it amazing. Oh, Rogue's just so good because of cunning action. It's just wonderful. You've always got something good to do with the bonus action.
Awesome.
Yep. And you get more hit points and more bits and pieces as well. But yeah, you go, wow, I'm cut out for this. Where are you headed?
I'm headed back to my room.
Okay.
If there's still a guard outside my
last
room,
place
I may
to
go to the room next door and attempt to just get in there.
There is a guard outside your room.
And it's the disgruntled guard.
Correct.
But her husband has probably just lost his job. So. Hang on.
Yeah, finish that sentence.
So, no, I'm just going to try and sneak on the outside.
Does
If
she have
there's any kind of close route that I could take.
Does she have enough
would
men
help
to
a lot.
fire Sarum?
Yeah, maybe not.
And also, he's looking for a job now.
You make your way. Okay, so you go right. Well, the best way to do it is to find one of the windows and then scale around the outside. So you pop out of a window. Please make me a acrobatics check to scale your way around the outside.
Okay, cool. 18.
Yeah, 18, fine, whatever. Is it a number? Yeah. It's easy. You pop out and you leap to the side and catch the rope that you left dangling before. It jerks uncomfortably and you go, oh yeah, this wasn't very sound. But it lasts just enough for you to clamber up and onto the into your bedroom through the window.
I'm
Yeah.
going to remake my bed, cover up any other signs of illicit activity.
So you have to pull the rope up.
Yep. And I'm going to just go to sleep and rest until whatever delegation arrives tomorrow.
Boy, let's hope that your sister comes to your room first and doesn't go to the map and find the sorry sis.
She's got
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm doing this for her.
Okay, cool. You go to sleep. And you are awakened by a banging on your door.
Oh gosh. Yes?
The door opens, and it's the guard outside. Her name's Emma, and she looks at you and she says, "Oh, thank goodness! Oh, thank goodness you're here."
Oh, what did you think was gonna happen, Emma? Calm down.
I was certain that you would be gone.
Has the delegation arrived?
They're on their way.
I'm so excited. Bring me my finest clothes.
I'll have servants do that immediately.
Thank you very much, Emma. And as thanks for guarding my room, I shall put in a good word for Sauron.
I hear he's well misunderstood.
Sauron.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I said.
Thank you, milady. She turns and servants come in and they start to dress you.
Excellent.
No,
Don't undo that. This is fine. This is just my undergarments, which are a little larger than they usually are.
Come on, milady, you must.
Yes.
No, you can't. What have you got?
Oh,
with it?
just shush!
Okay.
It's some wine. I'm going to give them a gold piece.
They'll take the money.
All right, good. There you go.
Mark it off your tarot sheet.
Yeah.
Thank you. A gold piece each, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's 2.
Okay.
They get your clothes to fit around your concealed weaponry and map that you have, and that you are dressed in a light blue gown. It is impractical, it is difficult to move in, and it is exactly the kind of clothing that you hate to wear.
Excellent. Where is my sister?
Alyssa?
Yes.
She'll be greeting the deputation downstairs, getting ready to at least.
Right, let's go then.
Yes, let's. Oh, your hair.
Oh, don't worry.
No, we must. You are held up for at least another 20 minutes, half an hour while they do your hair and put on some
seriously?
makeup for you.
I
Yup.
will pay them to not do my hair.
How much will you pay them?
2 more gold pieces each.
They will take the money and you can come down with your mess of hair. I mean, it's a tangled mess at the moment.
That's fine.
But you don't care. That's fine. Whatever. You come downstairs.
Tousled,
yeah. You've been bathed. You've been clothed, and even though you insisted on one moment for my modesty, I need to go and put this on behind a screen. And you come downstairs looking the princess.
From the neck down.
Yeah, from the neck down. No, not at all. You already have the sort of haughty disdain and demeanour that comes from really good posture. So you make your way down the stairs, I'd say effortlessly, but that's not true. You don't wear clothes like this, so you're a bit clumsy. And you see people from your childhood. You see people who you've always known, but you definitely don't know their names. Various matronly chefs and cooks and servants and guards. People who've always treated you well, who've had a soft spot for you, who've raised you up and turned a blind eye to all of your indiscretions. A couple of them have tears in their eyes. They see you in and you are ushered downstairs with a growing crowd to the Great Hall.
All right.
Alyssa sees you come in and she goes... She makes a symbol of the protective horn and she says, "Sister." And she comes over to you and takes your hands in hers and says, "Thank you. Thank you for this. I am sorry that I was so harsh to you yesterday. I spoke out of turn. Forgive me."
You are welcome.
No problem.
Present?
The deputation will arrive shortly. There is a...
Wow.
And...
Fancy.
Yeah. Well, this is what you do when you approach a keep. You don't just march up. You have a herald come and announce you. And so someone on the ramparts shouts, "Who goes there?" And, "My Lord Tyndall of Krassos and retinue." That's...
You will be Lady Tyndall.
Alyssa goes, "Then approach." And there's and you hear the sound of horses and a party. There's the main door's open. The doors to the keep. They come in. The horses are led off in one direction.
So they have a bard leading the way to introduce people.
And there is the double doors open, and the herald steps in first. And he takes 3 steps in, and bows deeply, goes down on one knee, and says, "My Lady Alyssa of Merrick, it is a great pleasure to be here and to introduce the most noble, the most honourable Lord Tyndall of Krassos, 5th of his name." And the bard, she gestures back, and Lord Tyndall himself steps forwards. Lord Tyndall is just a hair over 5 foot tall. He is quite portly, but wearing a very nice, really well-made waistcoat, which makes him look a lot less chubby than he is. And no chat. And he steps forwards. He looks kind of like Henry VIII, but Henry VIII when he was 22.
Okay.
Right? And so he steps forwards. A fine castle, he says. And goes and looks at some of the masonry off to one side in the doorway. "Of sound construction, it would weather many a siege." And he turns and then steps in. His retinue say nothing. Their faces, as soon as he starts talking about the castle, everyone's face like poker face. Everyone's just like, just say nothing. Just say nothing. And
This guy's really got a thing for masonry.
And he strides up into the room, and he looks at you, and then he looks at Lady Alyssa, and he says, "And which of you lovely ladies am I to wed?"
He did not read his brief. He did not read his brief at all.
The beautiful Freya of Merrick. How could I possibly have mistaken you?
Yes.
Your gown is as blue as your eyes. What colour are your eyes?
They're like green.
Green, of course. Green with envy are all the other courtiers. And he gets down on one knee and takes your hand in his. Mwah. It is an honour, nay, a privilege, nay, a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, I am so very excited to be...
Are you hiding this at all? No, it's fine.
Yes! It is a pleasure to meet you, my lord, and my future husband.
Performance check, please.
Oh, this is joyous.
5.
Maybe over-egging the pudding slightly.
Okay. You see, he looks at your eyes, and there's a moment of like recognition there. And he says, "Well, of course it is. Why would it not be?" And he lifts himself up to his full, not very impressive height, and he says, "Now, there must be a feast and celebration, and then, of course, we will discuss the travel back to Krassos." And he claps his hands, and Alyssa says, "My Lord Tyndall, you are most welcome to my keep. Of course, there will be feasting and celebration. Please, will you introduce your company to us? They are such colourful characters." And he said, "Yes, of course, of course." And there's suddenly commotion happens, and the crowd that were gathered around start bringing in food. The tables are set, the silverware is brought in, and that you are seated in pride of place at the centre of the table. Right, yeah, Alyssa is sat next to you.
It's your big day.
Yeah,
And I'm going to be...
well, this isn't the wedding.
Where's your younger sister? Where has she gone?
She's
Because
already been
she's
farmed
like...
off, hasn't she?
She's already been farmed off.
She's already gone. That's really sad. She would have loved
Otherwise, she'd have been here. Yeah, I know. I really wanted her to be here. I wanted her to come
Frothing
and
with
get
excitement.
excited with
She
you.
would have added so much.
Oh yeah, one of the chefs has gone. It's such a shame your sister can't be here.
That's
She
right.
would have loved it.
Her name's Brunhilde was her name.
Brunhilde.
Yeah, so one of the chefs comes over and says, "Oh, here's venison. Spent all night preparing." You know that's not true. You were in the kitchen, Leighton.
It looks delicious. Thank you very much.
Oh, perfect, perfect, Lord Tyndall declares. And he sits down and tucks in. He is devoted to you, it appears. That's what he's, like, everything he does is trying to give that impression off. He waits for you to eat, and he starts layering questions into you, saying, so tell me, please, what do you do around here? What are the fine sights to see? Tell me of the lands of Merrick. I have never been before, and now I have arrived. I see what a terrible mistake it has been my entire life. I could linger here for years and not have seen every wonder that this castle has to offer.
To be honest, my betrothed, I'm quite looking forward to leaving this place. I'm afraid...
Well, why would you not? A wonderful future life awaits you in Krassos.
Yes, indeed, yes, it does.
Insight check.
Going to work on my reading quickly. 11.
11 total?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, please, this is Sir Darius, and he indicates he has a big stupid fighter with him. It is his... Sir Darius has not taken off his helmet until this point. He's standing. He's not sat at the feast. Sir Darius is standing, defending his lord. That's his job. He'll eat later. He's not sitting down and partaking. And Sir Darius, my lady, you hear. Sir Darius is a faithful ally of mine. He goes absolutely everywhere with me.
Excellent. It's fantastic to meet you.
It certainly is. Never leave my side. Isn't that right, Sir Darius? Never leave my side.
I see.
Oh,
And-
tender.
And tell me of your sisters. You have 3 others, I believe, apart from the lovely Lady Alyssa.
Yes, and they're all quite dull.
Alyssa
Alyssa.
chokes on her food.
Alyssa. Oh, might I make an announcement?
I would rather you did not. Surely there are no announcements to be made.
Free wine for everybody, including the guards.
There's a great cheer, and the herald.
Including guards may be stationed in other areas of the castle. French everybody.
Everybody.
Barrels are rolled out.
Alyssa stands up and says, obviously my sister is incredibly excited for her big day.
Wine we all.
I will have a glass of wine distributed to all of the guards at the end of their shifts. And please continue. You were introducing your wonderful company, Lord Tyndall. And Lord Tyndall gestures and he says, yes, well, you've met Sir Darius. And of course, my herald Jacob, and he gestures over here, and my lawkeeper, the Lady Amelia. And he introduces these 2 characters who've come in with him before, who came in with him and who have sat down. His herald is dressed really flamboyantly. I mean, that's kind of his job. It's like part jester, part herald, and you can please play this character in the scene. And the Lady Amelia has with her, she's got a great big book, which is kind of chained to a belt with her, and you can just, huge pair of glasses, chunky and thick. And yes. And she appears very interested by everything that's going on here, really taking the whole scene in.
You're right, Lord Tyndall. The crenellations really are fascinating.
Yes, and they really are, actually. It's a bit awkward. There's the Lady Alyssa is doing her best to smooth conversation over, and she is working. Like, you can see the sweat. She's trying to make this go smoothly. the guards, because he's got Sir Darius and he has a couple of other guards who are with him. He's got a party of about 4 guards that are just stationed, are hanging out with your guards, and they are exchanging pleasantries, but there's tension there. Make me a deception check, please.
19.
19? No, 19. Okay.
I'm a pretty good deceptor.
You are a pretty good deceptor yourself. As the meal continues, Lord Tyndall says, of course, Jacob here has been announcer for everyone in my family until they got married. No, he's truly wonderful. Lists all of our accomplishments, however small they are, however petty they may seem.
Well, you did win that tournament, even though there were only 2 commanders.
Yes.
And one only had 1 leg.
I really insist you do stop telling everyone that, Jacob. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. He leans over and he whispers to you, and he says, listen, I do understand, you know. We have to put on a show for the masses, but I do understand. And he reaches out a hand and he says, I can't promise I'll make you happy. And I think I'd be a fool to try. But I can promise you that we are in the same boat. And I think that we should start at least as friends.
I agree. Friends.
And he shakes your hand. And then fire and blood. The Rains of Castamere start playing. The feast wraps up, and he says, "Perhaps we could talk after this in private. Would be
in private.
I would like this very much. But for now, I'm
private. Oh.
yeah, there's a lot of I say they've gone off. Alyssa heard this and was a bit worried by it, but is immediately dragged into answering questions by the Lady Amelia, who wants to know everything about things.
Yes, so tell me, there was this very interesting thing that happened with your 3rd aunt 7 times removed. Apparently it was a very interesting legal case. I would love to know the details if you have them.
I'm sure that I could find someone who was interested in that.
Let's do it. Come along. I do love looking at old legal cases, don't you?
And there's a feast, and it's not hugely celebratory, but it is a chance to have a lot of food, and everybody kind of enjoys it. They have pulled out all the stops that they have to pull out, which with the depleted resources, this isn't a grand affair because a lot of people aren't here. And so they've put 3 tables together, and you've got a large feast with 3 tables, but this isn't the 12-tabled feast that you would have had were the Baron still here and were all of his troops around. That said, this happens, and Lady Alyssa stands up and says, I believe it is time for the gifts. And ooh, gifts! Suddenly I'm more interested. I believe it's time for the gifts. And she clicks her fingers, and Sir Tyndall says,
It's a good knife.
Yes.
How does Lord Tyndall respond to that?
Throw.
Do you say, are you ever going to get a knife? Goes Lord Tyndall, and everybody else laughs, and but
the herald holds up the laugh.
Yes. Oh yes, very, very droll. What a sharp sense of humour she has. Oh God. And there is no, dear God, what is wrong with you, Chad? I'm not even going to dignify that with a response. He says, yes, please, bring in my gifts. Bring them in. and there is a chest that is brought in, and it is opened, and inside are bolts of the finest silk. And you can see that these are...
Oh,
was
think of the
great.
message
I
you
will
can read, my lady.
Wow.
I mean, these are really expensive. They are expensive and they are rare. In fact, you...
Yes, Jacob the Herald is
It-
describing the
He's
lineage.
describing their provenance, that's
Yeah.
correct. And he
in a
says...
far distant land.
Yeah, they do come
Across the sands of Arabia, or what was it?
Yeah. He describes as being from a far distant land across the seas. That's right. These are very rare.
In a land where great animals 3 times the size of this castle roam tropical jungles.
The chest is not full of origami ninjas, and everybody does not die. And he pulls out the bolts of silk, and he unweaves them, and he says, "This is one of the finest substances that we have ever managed to accrue from our trading partners across the seas. It is perfectly light, wearable all year round, and if you will, my lady," and he turns to Alyssa, who hands him a sword, which he takes from a guard. He takes it, and he strikes down at the silk, and the sword does not cut through it.
Wow.
Now I'm interested.
That is military grade tech right there.
It's pretty awesome.
Play for it count.
What's the top count?
Stitchcraft.
Stitchcraft, that's great. Hold up the applause sign, nobody laughs. And he winds it back up. And the Lady Alyssa goes and she comes in with a great big book. And she, it's huge. And she hands it to
You don't mean the Lady Alyssa, do you?
the Lady Alyssa.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the gift bag.
Not.
No. The Lady Alyssa.
You are suddenly peering.
Lady Alyssa comes in with a great big book, and she hands it to a servant standing by, and she opens it and she says, "This is a facsimile of the Chronicle of Galatea. It lists all of our kings, it lists all of our thanes, and all of our barons, our histories, our blunders and our triumphs, that you may know us better, and that it may bring peace." And she closes it up. It's a huge book. It's absolutely, I mean, it's a great, big, weighty
Polite
volume.
round of applause.
Yeah.
Murmurs of general.
It's like, oh, this isn't as good a gift.
Yeah.
This sucks. We're rubbish. We're the bad guys. Yeah, I mean, Lord Tyndall has clearly won the gift-giving competition, and he says, oh, what a gracious gift. Truly, I feel I have already been given the greatest gift that all of Galatea could present me.
Friendship.
And so much more. He says, yes, thank you. And the feast winds down. Later on, oh my god, chat, I'm just going to turn you off. Later on, he comes to your chambers. And
Here's Darius.
yeah, he knocks on the door, and you have you got out of your gown, or are you still in it?
I'm definitely not in my gown.
Okay, you got back to your chambers, and you see that a lot of your hidey holes have been opened up. There are servants in there who are dragging out your clothes and packing them into chests. They've gone through, and there's a big pile of like miscellaneous stuff.
Mostly knives.
Which is knives and alcohol and various other things that you've stolen that's been put into a corner. But they've gone through your room. They're packing away everything you own.
Okay.
You're being shipped off to Krassos.
Yeah.
And you enter and they say, "My lady," and you haven't been there very long. So what's your immediate reaction to these servants?
you knew about the concealed. The knives, which were obviously just like. I was just laying them around, they're just convenient to put
Collector's
them in the
items.
corner. Yes, of course. I'm a bit saddened, honestly. But this is to be expected. I'm going to get changed into something still noble, but less over the top, so I can actually move around in it. Behind a screen.
Of course, my lady. We will leave you and return to pack your things later. They look at the knives and they go. You go and you're like, get this stupid thing off me, and you get out of your dress and you put on your travelling clothes, which you're much more comfortable in. There's a, my lady, I say, my lovely lady future wife.
Hello there. My betrothed.
Indeed, it is I Lord Tyndall.
I am rushing around.
Yep.
I'm making some kindling.
Okay. So the only thing you've got that you could burn here are your clothes and
Sheets.
your bed, like your bed sheets
The
and
bed.
So no, like chair and dressing table and
I guess you could smash those up. Yeah.
Yeah.
probably not
Okay.
centuries
So
old.
okay.
Not
I've got some
quietly,
matches and
though.
I use tools. I'm going to be trying to set a light to the bed while speaking through the door.
Oh yes, my beloved. Yes. Okay.
You find me in a state of undress.
Okay. This is amazing. Please roll me a. Do you have? You've probably got a fire in your room, so you've got everything you need
Yeah, that's a
to
good point, actually.
light a fire here. Please roll me. Please roll me a performance check to mask what you are doing. There's no chance that you will fail to light a fire here.
I got a 6.
Except that you have no idea how to light a fire because you are noble and you have people to do this for you. So you look down at the fire and the flint and steel and the kindling and all the stuff, and you go, "Yep, that's wizard's business." So you're there and you've got the flint and you're kind of hitting the logs with it, and it's like you're like, I've seen this done. I know it can be done. You just You're trying to make a fire at the moment and
Okay.
failing.
I mean, if it looks like I'm going to fail, I'm going to attempt to conceal what I was just doing.
Well,
And
that's-
just open the door. Just a little bit.
Okay. You look up and you look down a little bit and you see Sir Tyndall, who looks at you. Sir Tyndall has a really rather marvellous beard. It's very well groomed, is what it is. This person uses oils on his beard and pays attention to his appearance. He's got a nice beard and he's put on it's a sort of a beret cap, which on most people would look really pretentious, and this guy pulls it off. So he looks up at you, and he's managed to get debonair, which when you're just about 5 foot tall is not easy to do. But he looks up and he goes, "My lady, I was hoping
That worked.
I was hoping we could talk." You look down and then you see behind him the giant tin can of Darius.
Could we talk without the giant?
I wish that were possible. You have no idea how much I wish that were possible.
But you see, I'm not dressed. My betrothed.
Good lord. Well, then I shall wait here and speak to you from beyond the door. Press it just two, that I may speak through the hole.
Yes, okay.
He presses it just two. He says, "Oh, Darius, you faithful stalwart that are always here. How dependable you are," you hear from the other side of the door. "Gosh, my mother must be so pleased that you keep such a vigilant watch on me."
My
Sounds
betrothed.
like if Darius wasn't here, you wouldn't have a husband to be.
"Yes, beloved."
I must ask something specific, my betrothed.
Ask away, my sweet one.
It's a little cold in here, and I still don't have any clothes on. I don't know how to light the fire.
I suggest you get dressed.
I really am quite cold though.
Yes,
my darling.
clothes, I hear.
Do you know at all how I could just light the fire quickly?
Of course. Darius, light the wall sconce. And you hear some noise from outside, and then there's a... Milady, if I have averted my eyes to spare your modesty, and he pushes the
Thank
door
you,
open.
darling. All right, I'll just light the fire now and get dressed.
Yes, do that.
Hang on, okay.
It was just...
I don't feel super confident with Darius right outside the door, darling. I'm just going to lock the door while I'm getting changed. I'm sorry.
I'm just one moment. Okay, so you lock the door. It's not hard to do.
And I'm going to set the bed alight. I'm a very exaggeratedly full.
So wait. Just okay. You leave and set the bed alight.
Yeah.
Yes, Darius, stand slightly further too, would you? And as you so you touch the torch to the bed sheets, and you hear and it starts to flicker.
I've fallen! Oh no! The room is alight, my darling. Whatever shall I do? I'm going to go out the window.
Okay, as soon as there's I've fallen, the room is alight. You hear there is. Okay, there's a boom, boom.
I'm getting out the window.
That's fine. And there's a boom, and the door slams open. And Darius, well, you're out the window. You are, I will remind you, 5 floors up.
Yes.
Did you just dive out the window? No plan?
I mean, yeah, pretty much. I'm just going for it. I'm
Oh,
going to
wow.
trust in my athletics.
Please make me
We
a...
know there's a well in the grounds.
Dear God. Okay. Alright. So, Darius bursts open the door and he sees that there is a fire on the bed. The rest of the room is fine. There is a small fire blazing, which has been piled up with like clothes and a half-broken chair. Everything kind of been swept there, and the bed is on fire.
I thought my door would be stronger than that.
And he
to be honest.
goes and I rolled well.
Okay.
And he goes and looks out of the thing. Please make me a acrobatics check.
15. 16.
You never roll the nat ones then. What do you get? 16. Okay, on a 16, you can, as a bonus action, because you are now a level 2 rogue, make me a hide check, which I require you to make, assuming you are still conscious.
What do I add to hide?
Hide is a dex check.
Dex plus stealth.
It's a stealth check, yeah.
Dex plus stealth.
Oh, okay. 24.
24. That's pretty
You
good.
blend into the stone.
I am the stone.
On a 24, Darius looks out, and you are nowhere to be seen. As the smoke continues to billow and crackling fire erupts in the room, pouring out of the window, and shouts go up around the castle. And I think that's where we're going to leave this session.
Cool.
Wow, yeah. Thank you very much for sticking with us, chat. And I'm gonna stop recording now, but I'm gonna leave this on for we can just have a bit of a post-session chat because I
If
think
you
that's
have
a good
any
thing to have.
chat questions that you want
Yeah.
for any of the questions to characters to answer or players to answer, then
This is the most convincing fake death ever.
If my door held for more than 20 seconds, it would have been.
It would have been great. Help! The stone room is alight. What an incredible. It's a shame. I had some really cool stuff that I wanted to say through the door, and I kept being like, okay, just hold on. But you were like, no, we're fucking going for it. We're going now.
I have a feeling we might see Lord Tyndall again.
Yeah, I think I'll meet him again.
I think you may have found a kindred spirit there. You just don't know it yet.
Maybe I'll rescue him from this
Yeah.
one day.
That's incredible.
Of course,
Yes.
you might have just started a war. So
Well, it's up to the Lord what he tells everyone else what happened. Maybe he can get Darius to shut up about it. I don't know. I doubt it.
and be
Actually.
like, oh, we are now taking this definite princess and not a mop in a dress.
Let's see him
Off to
spin this one.
Crassus to get married.
Yes, that was a bit of a progress things a little bit slowly session because David wasn't
Because we're
here.
missing a character,
yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of like actual plot that needs to click in, but I want everyone there for that. So that
Well, I
was.
believe he's going to be with us next week.
He is here next week. So yes, David, when you return, Darius versus your fight.
Maybe Lord
Is what
Tibble
chat
is
said.
the dwarf with the flaming hair, cunningly disguised.
I mean,
Flaming hair is a good disguise. What else are you going to notice about someone when
That's
their hair is on fire?
pretty true.
Although you'd know.
Don't worry, this
Well,
is the thing
but
that
you-
Freya might try now she's a level 2 rogue. Guys, it's the only thing they're going to notice about me. Set my hair on fire.
So did the dwarf with flaming hair have literally flaming hair? Or
Who
just
knows?
like
We'll
red
find out.
hair?
Yeah, we'll find out when we meet them.
Although I'd imagine you'd recognise the difference between a dwarf and a human.
Who would recognise the difference?
People.
Also, I
Yeah.
believe on the map there was an area that was marked "Here be dwarves."
There was.
Indeed,
Where is
yes.
that map? I drew
Well, I
this
got
map.
it right here.
Yeah,
actually.
I drew this map.
Yes,
I
yeah.
want to.
You got it. Yeah.
That
right,
is
right,
not the
right
map.
here is the map. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chat, if you want to have a look at the map, please by all means. Is this the right one?
Nope.
Oh my
Tuck
my thing
tingle.
broke.
There we go.
Founded in the history by
Yeah.
your own.
So we've got.
Founded in the history by. Oh, did you also, did you guys see the amazing thing that Ash drew?
No, not yet.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
So yeah, there's dwarves up in the mountains here, this bit, and the orcs. We've got the black-toothed orcs in this bit of the forest. We got the red fist orcs in that bit of the forest. We got the grey-eyed orcs north of the river, which I didn't actually mark out. This is the Ellesmere. That's the Lake of Tears
Is that
over
one
there,
in advance?
and this bit
No, in advance,
here
no, this
is
all
Galatea. There's Hawk. There's the
This is
hill
amazing.
where the tomb was, and over on this side, this little corner, this is the top corner of Crassus. And then north of that, who the fuck knows?
The White Walkers.
The White Walkers, yeah, north of the wall.
This is the amazing piece of artwork that Ash drew midstream.
Practice! Poking the little.
Which
Oh,
I
that's
think
amazing.
is just really cool. Yeah, we're gonna leave it there, guys, and we'll be back with a full crew next week. So don't go anywhere. Grab your friends, grab your enemies, and be here for a more plot-centric session with at least some combat. Thank you very much for sticking with us. Like, subscribe, all of that terrible stuff. But
Chill.
share. Yeah, no. The best thing you can do to help us grow right now, the absolute very best thing, is find somebody that you have some vague tangential relation to. Maybe you used to date them and then killed their pet and haven't spoken to them in years. This is a perfect way to bridge that gap
I
and
didn't
get
talk
back
about
in. Yeah, maybe you asked for a raise and your boss laughed in your face. This is another. These are the kind of uses that you can bring this to. We are on every Thursday at 8 on twitch.tv/CellpenGM. And if you go to youtube.com/CellpenGM, that is where we are also. I'm on Twitch at Cellpen, saying thank you very much and keep rolling them dice.